بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله. We continue reading from Imam Al-Ghazali's Jawah al-Qur'an, the Juz of the Qur'an. And we have reached in our reading Surah Al-Qamar. Imam Al-Ghazali chose 7 verses as jewels. And these 7 verses are the very last 7 verses of this surah, 49 to 55. Nevertheless, we'll try to pave our way from the beginning of the surah and see what, as a context, especially that the name of the surah, Al-Qamar, the moon, is mentioned in the very first verse. And it's an important topic that scholars debated the meaning of which in early Islamic history as well as nowadays. So, the beginning of the surah. أعوذ بالله السميع من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اقتربت الساعة وانشق القمر. The hour has drawn near and the moon was split, and in brackets here it says in two. The hadith is that the Meccan pagans challenged the Prophet ﷺ to have the moon split in two if he wanted them to believe in him. The moon was split and then rejoined, as reported by several eyewitnesses. But still the pagans refused to believe, calling this miracle sheer magic. And this is regarding their position, the pagans. The second verse, وَإِن يَرَوْا آيَةً يُعْرِضُوا وَيَقُولُوا سِحْرٌ مُسْتَمِرٌّ. Yet whenever they see a sign, they turn away, saying, same old magic. Now, let me, in principle, share a few ideas about the scientific interpretation of the Qur'an as a new branch of exegesis. So we have events, cosmic events, for example, and we have the Quranic text, and each needs an interpretation. In fact, the very translation here, that of Mustafa Khattab from the clear Qur'an, one can choose other translations. The issue is the same, is that a translation is an interpretation. In Shaq al-Qamar, okay, that's one thing in Arabic. The moon was split in two is between parentheses. Split in the sense of 100% split. Some scholars would say that the use of past tense in the Quran, and like in this case, regarding future events, is to make it vivid. So the Quran does use past tense to give that it is imminent, that it is going to happen. There is no way it will not. If it's about the future, meaning in eschatological, as an eschatological event, end of time scenario, if you will, then not only the moon will be subject to dramatic events. The sun itself, والشمس تجري لمستقر لها, the sun itself will run out of fuel. Every galaxy has it seems that, our galaxy, the Milky Way, has a black hole. It will take a long time. The galaxy next to us, Andromeda, is moving in our direction at a massive speed, but it will take a long time, if there is a long time before the day of judgment, because the Prophet ﷺ said that I have been sent along with the hour, meaning the day of judgment. Like these two fingers, and he moved his index and middle finger right next to each other, to show that it is very, very close. So things will be hastened, and not necessarily, wallahu alam, wait until Andromeda arrives 5 billion years from now. Wallahu alam. اقتربت الساعة. Imam Sha'rawi said that الساعة is the late Imam Sha'rawi rahimahullah. He said the الساعة could be the particular hour of the each individual, his or her death. That cannot be very far. It's inevitable. We are mortals, and it's going to take place. Or the general Sa'a, which is the hour, the day of judgment. Some scholars who are very keen to they have subscribed to the idea that this splitting of the moon did take place, since it is mentioned in the Qur'an, it is mentioned in the Hadith, and someone like Dr. Zaghlul Najjar, Jazallah khairan, he has very important insights in this field, in the field of scientific interpretation of the Quran. He referred to a 300 miles long rift in the moon as a possible remnant of that splitting of the moon. If this is really the issue, then we do have many rifts in the moon, and the 300 kilometers rather that he referred to, they are 5 kilometers wide, and stretches between the Mare Tranquillitatis and Mare Vaporum. They simply names that are given to places on the surface of the moon. There is an extensive rift system on the moon. Now, Dr. Zaghlul Najjar mentioned, Jazallah khairan, this particular rift, and it is called the Rima Ariadaeus. There is something more, like much, much larger. Okay. If you talk about a rift system, one that is around 1,800 mi- precisely 2,500 kilometers, believed to be the remains of the old rift valleys that later became filled with lava. And this area has been compared to uh, this will be about 17% of the surface of the moon. Now, simply what I'm saying, Dr. Zaghloul Najjar spoke about the 300 kilometers rift. I say that if you just read a little bit more, you'll find that there is this 2,500 kilometer wide rift that and there are maps of this rift. It's massive. It's massive. Uh, Now, I don't say that this is what took place during the time of the Prophet ﷺ and the when the pagans challenged him. I'm simply saying that if you read enough about the rift systems or the on the moon, you'll find many things. There are those who spoke about an eclipse. So it could be something that took place, something that will take place um, as part of the end of time scenarios, part of the eschatological events, ultimately. And I'm not going to, I'm simply saying that we need to decipher the scientific information that is available. This is not the end of the story, but such a cosmic event would have had also impact on Earth. I would say that we do need uh, systematic studies and conferences where people of different backgrounds, theologians, but also scientists, engage each other uh, systematically regarding the such events. This would include the reference to the heights, the height of Sayyidina Adam alayhi salam. There was a reference also by one of the scholars involved in such a discussion. He said that one human skull that they found is half meter in diameter, and that will have a circumference of 314 centimeters approximately. And if you think about it, I personally, because I know the size of the circumference of my head, that will be literally 6 times the circumference of my head. Now, there hasn't been any such discovery until now. And I remember seeing many years ago, maybe more than 20 years ago, a local newspaper published the image of people standing to a massive skeleton that reminds me of the story of Gulliver. But that story would think in the land of the dwarfs, or obviously it was the image was edited to create such an effect. So we'll just leave it. We'll just leave it like this, with a serious call for group study, but not talk about specialists. Remember that when there is something new, or something that needs both the fiqh, the legal Muslim experts, when it involves medicine, they would ask a physician to explain to them the issue, and then there will be a collective discussion, and ultimately a decision, such as when in vitro fertilization became a reality, and they discussed this. I remember that Dr. Muhammad Al-Bar used to explain this to the fuqaha, who represent the member states of the Organization of Islamic Cooperation today, and then they will make a decision. Same thing with any new advancement. I think the same should apply in this case. We continue reading. The disbelievers, those who reject the truth, those who follow their own desires, despite the stories of past nations who were destroyed, it should be a deterrent, a sufficient deterrent. The Qur'an is profound and full with such wisdom and warnings. Warnings, unfortunately, are of no benefit to these non-believers, and it addresses the Prophet ﷺ to turn away from them and wait for the day when the caller will summon them for something horrifying. On that day, with eyes downcast, they will come forth from the graves. So it's the end of day of judgment, and they will be resurrected. So they will come forth from the graves as if they were swarming locusts. And elsewhere in the Quran, in Surah Al-Qari'ah, يوم يكون الناس كالفراش المبثوث. So people on that day will be like scattered butterflies, and I've read the narrative by that goes back all the way to the time of the Ibn Abbas radiallahu anhuma. They tried to merge both the farash and the jarad, the butterflies, and the locusts. Locusts, probably swarming locusts, simply the many. Usually when you have locusts, it's just like it's overwhelming their numbers. The description of people when they are resurrected and they come forth from the graves like butterflies, this is about not really knowing where they are going, what will be of them, what will happen to them. Butterflies have this erratic, to us it appears random. Of course, it's like it's a built-in thing in their DNA to fly, in this erratic, this is something that we add, say random fluttering pattern. There is a pattern, and as I said, this is something that is built in. But imagine how and of course, that movement for the butterflies is to avoid predators. When people are resurrected, it's not about predators. It's about really being now those non-believers. They don't know what will be of them, so they will walk around as if they were drunk, but they are not drunk. Erratic, but they have to respond to the caller. Rushing towards the caller, the disbelievers will cry, "This is a difficult day." Then there are peoples who were mentioned before who rejected and they were punished severely. The people of Noah, Sayyidina Nuh alayhi salam, they rendered him the lie, and they said he's insane. And he was intimidated by this. So close to 1,000 years he stayed with them. And he cried out to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, فَدَعَ رَبَّهُ وَأَنِّي مَغْلُوبًا فَانْتَصِرْ, I am helpless, so help me. And then, from elsewhere in the Qur'an that he built the ark. And once he was on the ark, in the ark, if you will, with the pairs of animals, you can think now about the next verse here from Surah Al-Qamar. So we opened the gates of the sky with pouring rain and caused the earth to burst with spring, so the waters met for a fate already set. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions that we carried him on that ark. We met the ark is implied here of planks and nails, sailing under our watchful eyes, a fair punishment on behalf of the one they denied. And the ark itself was left as a sign. So is there anyone who will be mindful? Then how dreadful was my punishment and warning. And that's not the end of their punishment. They drowned, they were finished, but that's not the end of their punishment. There is still the punishment, and it will be on the day of judgment. It applies also to the people of Ad, how they were punished by severe, unrelenting wind, uprooting people as if they were trunks of uprooted palm trees. And Thamud and the people of Lut alayhi salam, they rejected also the warning, and we unleashed upon them a storm of stones. As for the believers of Lot's family, we delivered them before dawn, except of course for his wife, who she went out with them, but she was destined to be punished with them. And I can say maybe a word about this, why they were punished, the people of Lut alayhi salam, because of homosexuality. It's not about hospitality. It's not about hospitality. And وَلَقَدْ رَاوَدُوهُ عَنْ ضَيْفِهِ فَطَمَسْنَا أَعْيُنَهُمْ فَذُوقُوا عَذَابِ النُّذُرِ. And they demanded his guests, obviously, you might say the angel guests, but really his guests. They thought that they were simply men. Elsewhere in the Qur'an, they were mentioned as the first people on earth to invent this. It was a choice that they have made, and this is why they deserve this punishment, severe punishment, and there will be more on the day of judgment. So why his wife? I think simply because she approved their behavior. As you know, so it's not only when you do, when you perform, when you violate the divine commandments. It's also when you approve of them even without doing so. The last 7 verses that Imam Ghazali chose begin with verse 49. إِنَّا كُلَّ شَيْءٍ خَلَقْنَاهُ بِقَدَرٍ. Indeed, we have created everything perfectly preordained. Our command is but a single word, done in the blink of an eye. وَمَا أَمْرُنَا إِلَّا وَاحِدَةٌ كَلَمْحٍ بِالْبَصَرِ. For something to be, and it is. Be, and it is. And we have already destroyed the likes of you. وَلَقَدْ أَهْلَكْنَا أَشْيَاعَكُمْ فَهَلْ مِن مُدَّكِرٍ. The likes of you, أشياعكم, your supporters, your those who are similar to you. So will any of you, of course, be mindful? Would you take heed? Everything they have done is listed in their records. وكل شيء فعلوه في الزبر وكل صغير وكبير مستطر. Every matter, small and large, is written precisely. Nothing escapes. Indeed, the righteous will be amid gardens and rivers, at the seat of honor, in the presence of the most powerful sovereign. Very severe punishment. Many peoples who were punished. For those who heed the call, submit to the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Right belief, right deeds, right intention. Inshallah, they will end up in this state of felicity, at the seat of honor, in the presence of the most powerful sovereign. Alhamdulillah, with this we conclude this reading. The next one, inshallah, will read from Surah Al-Rahman. Imam Ghazali selected 27 verses. Until then, سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.